Students should have to wear uniforms in schools because it fosters a better learning environment for children, and it puts more attention on learning in schools rather than clothes. The first school uniforms were adopted in 1987 in the states of Washington, D.C. and Maryland. But that was not the first time that uniforms were used in schools. The first reports of schools were in 1222 in England for well-off schools or better-off schools. In the U.S., President Clinton provided momentum for school uniforms in his 1996 State of the Union speech, stating, "If it means teenagers will stop killing each other over designer jackets, then our public schools should be able to require their students to wear uniforms." School uniforms help kids stay involved in school and not the clothes that they are wearing. Most children compare their clothes, and this can be a source for bullying. If a child doesn't have the right brand of clothing or shoes, it's a distraction from learning, and that just shouldn't be happening. School uniforms help put all kids onto an equal playing field. In the New York Times Post about the school in Maryland in 1987, they reported that uniforms already reduced the preoccupations of students with expensive designer clothing and eased the financial burden that was placed on students' families. Today, I would like to talk about 3 main points. The first point being that uniforms help to increase student safety. Then I want to go on and talk about how they help to keep students focused on their education. And finally, how uniforms help to level the playing field for all students. When looking at the article, "Should Students Have to Wear Uniforms?" it looks at statistics of schools who have already implemented uniforms, stating that 1 year after Sparks Middle School in Nevada instituted a uniform policy, school police data showed a 63% drop in police log reports, and decreases were also noted in gang activity, student fights, graffiti, property damage, and battery. The statistics show that there is a major drop in the amount of crime that happens in school because of uniforms. Parents can also see the difference in kids and the atmosphere. Parents at John Adams High School discussed their opinions about uniforms on the school's chat board and their children's reactions to uniforms. One parent stated, "I can attest to the positive effects it seems to have on students, and definitely on the perception of an outsider like me. The students appear to be calmer and less hostile to authority." When looking at statistics and parent opinions, it shows that uniforms are helping to lower crime rates in schools and helping to keep kids safe. Now let's consider how uniforms help to keep students focused on their education. Schools around the country have school uniforms for multiple different reasons. One reason is to help kids be more focused on their education. Chris Hammonds, principal of Woodland Middle School, stated that uniforms provided for less distraction, less drama, and a more focused on learning. A parent at John Adams High School agrees and thinks that uniforms can even be used to help kids get ready for the real world. She stated, "Young people often fail to obtain jobs because they're dressed for an interview like they're dressed for school, underwhelming and even putting off personal directors. If they learn business casual dress at school, they will carry these lessons with them to job interviews." Schools and parents can see the effects on students and their attitudes towards schoolwork when they're wearing uniforms. And it seems that uniforms are improving both. There's even a chance that attitudes they learn in school can go on to help them in the real world and in the workforce. Now that we have looked at how uniforms can help students be more focused on school, let's look at how uniforms level the playing field for all kids. The money that parents have to pay for clothes is enormous, especially if they are looking at designer brands. Then parents still need to pay for school fees and school supplies for their student, or students, depending on how many kids they have in their family. This can turn into a burden for the whole family. After a school uniform policy was implemented in 3 different Nevada middle schools in 2008 and 2009, researchers wanted to find out why almost 1,500 7th and 8th graders felt about school uniforms and thought about this change. 50% agreed that uniforms saved their families money. Teachers are also able to see how this can help students in the long run. Research by the Schoolwear Association found that 83% of teachers thought a good school uniform could prevent bullying based on appearance or economic background. The burden is less for students and for the parents, which helps both parties be more focused on school. Teachers are able to see that students are less likely to bully each other because they're not comparing their clothes. After looking at uniforms in school, there is a clear understanding that wearing uniforms can help students. This can be seen by teachers, parents, and even students themselves. These facts can be seen in how uniforms help to keep students safe. They keep students' attention on schoolwork versus their clothes, and they even help to level the playing field for all kids, no matter what their financial situation. After looking at the statistics and opinions of people it affects, it makes sense that children should have to wear uniforms in schools. Like President Clinton said, if it helps kids from killing each other over clothes, it's worth it.